Let's talk about the Animal Lord. Hey everybody, it's Mitch, and welcome to my next video. Today, as I just said, we're going to be talking about the Animal Lord here from The Complete Divine. So, what we're going to be talking about today is first we're going to be talking about what is an Animal Lord. Then we're going to talk about what it takes to become an Animal Lord. Then we're going to talk about what you get as an Animal Lord. And finally, we're going to talk about how good the Animal Lord is and how you might use it in a build. So let's get started with it. So first off, what is the Animal Lord? Quite frankly, the Animal Lord is someone that doesn't really see themselves as human. They see themselves as an animal, and they see the form that they were born with as somewhat consequential and something of a hindrance to who they truly are. They believe that they're an ape or a wolf or a bird or whatever it is. They start to embrace those animals. They go out into the wild and they will go and be one with them. And on top of that, they will start to physically change into the form of that animal to a small extent. That is what the Animal Lord is. And another thing with the Animal Lord that I should point out is it's not actually a prestige class. It's 8 prestige classes. Yeah, it's not actually a single prestige class. Each different aspect, the Ape Lord, the Bear Lord, the Wolf Lord, Bird Lord, they are all different prestige classes. You can take them all separately and you can gain the advantages of all of them, and you start at level 1 every time you take one. It's effectively 8 different prestige classes that are all mostly the same and follow the same structure. That's the Animal Lord. So let's talk about what it takes to become an Animal Lord. So first off, there's an alignment restriction, and it's the same as that of a druid. You have to be neutral of some kind. Neutral good, true neutral, lawful neutral, chaotic neutral, neutral evil. That is the alignment requirement, literally the exact same as that of a druid. There's no extreme alignments, no lawful good, chaotic good, lawful evil, or chaotic evil. Next, it requires a base attack bonus of +5. All right, that's not too bad, especially seeing as you're probably going to want to take this as a martial type class anyway. This does also have druid entry, but honestly, it's not the best for that. We'll get into that. It also requires some skills. It requires 4 ranks in handle animal. It requires 2 ranks in knowledge nature, and it requires 4 ranks in another skill, and that skill depends on which one of the Animal Lords you're going into. If you're an Ape Lord, it requires Climb. If you're a Bear Lord, it requires Intimidate. If you're a Bird Lord, it requires Spot. If you're a Cat Lord, it requires Move Silently. If you're a Horse Lord, it requires Jump. If you're a Shark Lord, it requires Swim. If you're a Snake Lord, it requires Escape Artist. And if you're a Wolf Lord, it requires Survival. Okay? And it also has a feat requirement, and the feat requirement varies based off of which Animal Lord you're going for. So let's go over them. Ape Lords require Toughness, not a great feat. Bear Lord requires Endurance. Not the worst, especially seeing as you can get that for free as a Ranger, which is probably your best bet for entry, so not terrible. Bird Lord requires Improved Flight. This one's the trickiest one, because that requires you already have a fly speed. So you're probably going to want to have Wild Shape for that. So the book says Druid, which does make sense, but you can also do Wild Shape Ranger, which is probably the better option. Cat Lord requires Weapon Finesse. Horse Lord requires Run. Shark Lord requires Improved Swimming. Snake Lord requires Combat Reflexes. And Wolf Lord requires Track. So those are the feats that are required. Alright, it's not too terrible to get in, although some are worse than others. I mean, Toughness is not a great feat. So yeah, that's what it takes to get in. Now let's talk about what you get as an Animal Lord. First off, you get D10 hit dice, which is pretty solid, one of the best in the game. The only ones that are better are the very much barbarian specific ones, ones that are very much rage based and all that kind of stuff, that it's very obvious that it's barbarian. Those are D12, but this is a D10, which is the best you're going to get without being very obviously barbarian. You also get a good base attack bonus, a good fortitude, and a good reflex save, but not a very good will save, which is not bad. You're not going to get perfect saves unless you're like a monk. So that's pretty solid, those saves. Next, you're going to get skills, 4 plus int. So that's not bad at all. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it's not the worst. And the skill list is all right, pretty fitting. First thing you're going to get is something called Animal Bond. Now, what it does is, first off, it's going to give you a +4 to handle animal checks with your specified kind of animal. So anything that is your animal is going to get a +4 bonus, and it does specify the animals. I'm not going to go over that in this video, but it does list all of them in the book. So yeah, page 23 of the complete adventure. The next thing it's going to do is, if you happen to have an animal companion, your levels are going to stack. And this is going to count as Druid, so you're going to get full advancement. So that's really big. It's going to be really, really good for your animal companion. So if you had some levels of Ranger and then you add this, your levels of Ranger count for half, and your levels of Animal Lord are going to count for full. So that's really nice. This is actually one of the better classes for advancing Animal Companion. Next up, they get Detect Animals. They can use this at will. It's only going to be on their specified kind of animal, but they can use it at will, and their caster level is going to be equal to their class level. So that's not bad at all. Then they get Wild Empathy, which is the same as that of the Druid, which is really nice. The abilities of it, it's more or less making a diplomacy check with animals. It's not quite as good, but it lets you effectively make a diplomacy with animals to improve their mood, which is quite nice. And it's a special kind of check. It's got its whole rules. Its levels do stack with Druid and any other class that grants this. It's nice. And another big thing with Wild Empathy, if you didn't get it from Druid, now you have it from this, and that'll help you qualify for Druid-specific prestige classes. So you could use this as a way to qualify for other prestige classes. The one that comes to mind on that is the Arcane Hierophant. If you wanted to use a different kind of divine casting aside from Druid, you could use this to get in with a different class, and that would work. Now, at second level, you gain your first totem. And your first totem, what it does is it gives you a +4 on skill check. And the skill that it gives you a +4 to is the same one that was required to enter. So whatever the one that was specific to the animal you chose to enter, you're going to get a +4 to that. I checked, they all line up, so I'm not going to go over the list again, but yeah, it's the same ones. At second level, you also gain low light vision, and it will stack with anything from race. And this is another one that's really interesting that I should point out. If you are going to take multiple different animal lords, they will all stack for this. So if you take 2 levels in all 8 of them for whatever reason, and you have a race that gives low light vision, now you can see 10 times as far as a human can in low light, which is kind of nice, I guess. Instead of just twice as far, which you'd normally get, the way it stacks, it would work out to 10 if you did all of that. Then, but yeah, they do stack. Now at third level, and then again at 7th level, you get Wild Aspect. And Wild Aspect is probably the main thing you're going to be looking at for this class. And what it does is it gives you a unique ability, depending on which animal you chose. You can use wild shape attempts in place of this, and you get a number of uses of this. So you can use it once per day at 3rd level, and then twice at sec, and then 3 times at 9th level. So an Ape Lord gets claw attacks, which is kind of nice, I guess. The damage is okay, and they also get rend, and the claws and the rend get stronger when they hit 7th level. And it's going to last for 1 minute per class level every time you use this, and it's a swift action to activate. That's the default. Unless I say otherwise, it's 1 minute per class level and a swift action to activate. Actually, it's always a swift action to activate, but yeah, 1 minute per class level unless I say otherwise. Now, Bear Lord also gains 2 claw attacks that do the same amount of damage as the Ape Lord, but instead of getting the rend, they get a free grapple if they happen to hit with one of them, which is pretty nice. The Bird Lord gains wings that allow him to fly, and at 7th level it's 10 minutes per level instead of just the 1 minute per class level. So that's cool. It's average maneuverability, although you have to take the feat, so it's actually going to end up good maneuverability, which is not bad at all. Good maneuverability's pretty good. Cat Lord gains claws just like the other 2, but the Cat Lord's is different in a different way. So instead of a rend or a free grapple, they get a pseudo pounce. They can attack with both claws on a charge. So that's kind of cool. It's not a full pounce, but you know, it's something. Now a Horse Lord, what they get is a 10-foot move speed, and it lasts for an hour per level. And it goes up to a 20-foot move 7th level. So that's pretty nice. And when you take into account that you get 3 uses of this per day, by 10th level, you're looking at 30 hours. At 8th level, you're looking at 24 hours a day, which is the full day. So if you take 8 levels of Horse Lord, you can have a 20-foot bonus to your move speed all day. You just have to, at 3 points during the day, take time to revamp that when it wears off. So that's not bad at all. Now, Shark Lord gains a bite attack, which is okay, I guess. It does some damage, and the damage goes up. And they also can breathe underwater when they're in this form. Something, I guess. The Snake Lord is interesting. The Snake Lord also gets a bite, but their bite does less damage, but it does poison damage, and the poison is con-based. So the higher your con, the more likely it is to succeed. So it does con damage, and it's con-based, so it's not bad, actually. It can be useful. Now, the Wolf Lord, I think the Wolf Lord is the best of these, but the Wolf Lord, they gain Scent, and they gain it for 10 minutes per level. And then at 7th level, that goes up to an hour per level. So much like the Horse Lord, they can effectively do it all day once they get to 8th level, which is pretty nice. Now, at 4th level, they gain Speak with Animals once per day, but it's only the animal they select. At 5th level, they gain Summon Animal, which is effectively Summon Nature's Ally 5, except they have a very set list. So depending on which animal you chose, you're going to have a set list of animals that you can summon. So let's go over them. The Ape Lord can summon 1d3 dire apes or 1d4 plus 1 apes. The Bear Lord can summon 1 polar bear, 1d3 brown bears, or 1d3 plus 1 black bears. The Bird Lord can summon 1d4 plus 1 eagles, hawks, ravens, or owls. And in addition, if you're not evil, you can also summon giant eagles and giant owls. So not bad. The Cat Lord can summon 1 dire lion, 1d3 tigers, or 1d4 plus 1 lions. The Horse Lord can summon 1d4 plus 1 heavy horses, heavy war horses, light war horses, ponies, or war ponies. So basically any kind of horse or pony. The Shark Lord can summon 1d3 huge sharks, or 1d4 plus 1 large sharks, but he can only summon them in aquatic environments. Kind of makes sense. The Snake Lord can summon 1 giant constrictor, 1d3 huge viper, or 1d4 plus 1 constrictor snakes or large vipers. So they get some option. The Wolf Lord can summon 1d4 dire wolves or wolves. So there's some options there. Then at 6th level, you get your second totem, which gives you a bonus feat that is related to your animal. Those are as follows. Oh, and you don't need to meet the prerequisite for it. So yeah, you don't need the prereq. And on top of that, if you happen to already have this, you can just take whatever. Basically, you don't lose a feat if you already have it. So the Ape Lord gets Brachyon. I'm not sure how to exactly pronounce that. Probably mispronounced it. The Bear Lord gets Improved Grapple. Bird Lord gets Flyby Attack. The Cat Lord gets Lightning Reflexes. That one's not great. The other ones were okay, though. The Horse Lord gets Trample. Not bad for someone riding a horse. The Shark Lord gets Improved Critical Bite. The Snake Lord gets Improved Initiative. That's actually an okay feat. And the Wolf Lord gets Improved Trip, which is actually a really good one. It's interesting because it's kind of the opposite of what wolves get, since wolves get free trip whenever they make a successful attack, whereas Improved Trip lets you get a free attack every time you make a successful trip. 7th level, the Animal Lord gets Animal Growth. Once per day, they can use the spell Animal Growth on 1 animal of their type. Oh, and it's a swift action too, which is pretty nice. It makes it much more useful in combat. At 8th level, they gain Animal Telepathy, which just lets them telepathically communicate with any animal of their type as long as they're within 100 feet. And this is just a thing that they get all the time. And then at 10th level, they get their Capstone, their 3rd totem, which gives them a permanent +2 bonus to 1 stat, depending on which animal they chose. Ape Lords get a +2 to Strength. Bear Lords get a +2 to Constitution. Bird Lords get a +2 to Wisdom. Cat Lords get a +2 to Dexterity. Horse Lords get a +2 to Constitution. Shark Lords get a +2 to Strength. Snake Lords get a +2 to Charisma. And Wolf Lords get a +2 to Strength. And that's what the Animal Lord gets. Kind of ends weirdly abruptly there, but yeah, that's what they get. So let's talk about how good they are. All right. Well, it's not the best prestige class in the game. That's for sure. It's not a caster. So therefore, it's not going to be the best. That's just how the game works, unfortunately. But if you're looking to play a ranger and you want to have a good animal companion, this is a pretty solid way to accomplish that. It gives you a good animal companion. It has a lot of good synergy with ranger, especially if you go with like the wild shape ranger. this can be really big. A lot of the skills work really well with Ranger. Honestly, it's a pretty decent Ranger prestige class, and it's great for animal companions. It's one of the better ones for it. Is it the best? No, but it's solid, and it gives a lot of kind of cool features. Honestly, I would say it's worth going all 10 levels, personally. If not, you know, maybe stop at like 7 in order to get your second feature, depending on which animal you're going with. Personally, I think Wolf is the best, but there's arguments for others. Bird Lord has its reasons. Those wings can be quite nice. Flight is very good, although it does kind of require that you already can fly. So there's that. I don't know how good it is when it does require that you already have a flight ability. Wolf Lord getting scent is really nice. That's a really useful ability, and it's something that is kind of hard to get. So the fact that they can grab it is really big. The improved trip is really nice as well. Horse Lord's not bad. Getting the ability to go faster is pretty nice, and it's just an improvement. It's not like an enhancement bonus, anything like a monk. Horse Lord's pretty solid. You could go with Cat Lord for a pseudo pounce. It's not a full pounce since it doesn't give you a full attack, but it does let you attack with both claws, so there's that. Bear Lord's also a really solid one for that free grapple whenever you hit with a claw attack. Honestly, I think that might be the better option. Is Bear Lord, especially if you went like Barbarian, can be really big. I could see that mixing with Bear Warrior fairly well. Good synergy too, since you're literally transforming into a bear. I could see Bear Lord and Bear Warrior mixing pretty effectively. Is it a great class? No, but if you're looking to be Ranger type, you want that full base attack bonus, you want some good saves, but you want to embrace the wild a little bit more, this can be really big for that. I could see it working with Fist of the Forest as well as just another prestige class that I could see some synergy happening with. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I always love hearing from you guys. If you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a like, maybe subscribe for more D&D 3.5 content, and ring that notification bell so you never miss out on a video. Also, down in the description below, I have a link to my Twitch as well as to my Discord, so definitely check those out. But anyways, as always, I'm Mitch. I'll be seeing ya.